Welcome to Season 7 of my Kerbal Space Program LP. We're starting over in a brand new save here in version 0.25. And this one I expect to be a little bit different. For one thing, it's going to go a lot longer than the sadly aborted Season 6 that only had 3 episodes in it. I'm calling this one the long season, and the reason for that is I expect this season to go a long time. I am not going to just simply stop and start over on the next version when it comes out. This particular season of Kerbal Space Program will continue until the story it tells reaches some kind of a logical conclusion and stopping point. And I may update to future versions of KSP when they come out and mods are all updated. It depends on whether or not I can do that without breaking everything. I don't know. I know it took a long time to get this set up with the mods in it because I had a real problem with out-of-memory errors in trying to get all the mods loaded. For example, I was going to use Ferrum Aerospace, but I couldn't get KSP to start with Ferrum Aerospace installed without having an out-of-memory error. And mind you, I am running the 32-bit version because the 64-bit version, according to Squad, is even more unstable than the previous. Many mods are explicitly not supporting it, so I'm not going to mess with it until it gets to be more stable. Okay, we're starting out here. I'm going to, let's see, flag. One of these days, I need to get a flag made that is A, not something that everybody else is using, and also something that is uniquely me. I'll have to figure that out. I mean, these flags are great. The original ones and the stuff that's been added in the last couple of updates, there's some really great flags out there, but they're not really uniquely me. So I think I'm going to cheap out, and I'm going to use the NASA flag for this mission, this season. And we're using the new career mode here, and I'm going to go into difficulty options, and entry purchase will be required on research. In other words, when I successfully get enough science to unlock a tech node, the items in that node then have to be purchased for cash. Auto-hire crew members before flight is turned off. We don't want that. I will do the hiring, thank you very much. Missing crews will not respawn. If a Kerbal dies, they're dead, and they stay that way. No automatic respawns, no cloning vats, nothing like that. The science rewards, I'm going to turn that down to 70%. The same for funds rewards and reputation rewards. Funds penalties, I'm going to turn up by the same amount to 130%. The same for reputation penalties. This will provide a little bit of a challenge. Career options, starting funds, and science and rep, I'm going to leave those right where they are. Okay, we'll accept that, and let's get started. Okay, I need to go ahead and do that. Yada yada, I'll have to restart KSP before continuing. And what was that other thing out there? I didn't mean to click already into the VAB. Alright. Oh yeah, resource consumption. Max time without resources. I have adjusted the max time without electricity. I'm using the same settings for TAC life support and deadly reentry as Scott Manley used in a video that he made about how he set up the KSP Interstellar mods and whatnot. Okay, we'll go ahead and close that out. And, oh, I can't do that right here. Okay. Alright, so we'll hop into the VAB. The basic bare bones capsule only. And we're going to launch that. And I'm going to get 2 things checked on right there. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. First of all off, I need to go Alt-DR, check my deadly reentry settings. I have adjusted the G tolerance max, crew G max, and crew G min, and the multiplier to, again, the same settings that Scott Manley used in the KSP, in the Interstellar Quest series that he used. I figured if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, and so we'll go with that. Okay, now I can go ahead and close that and never look at it again. And I'm going to go ahead and start with some initial science here. A crew report from a capsule on the pad, and then we'll do an EVA, and on the ladder we'll do an EVA report, and then we will board the ship to store that science, and we'll do another EVA. This time we let go, back up a little bit, and this is the standard routine. We'll take a surface sample, get an EVA report, and then we'll go up to the capsule and store those experiments. And now, whilst I walk Jeb over to the runway to get some more science, I'll go into the mods. Okay, the mod list that I've got in here is actually mostly pretty familiar. It should be anyway. Start off with the Raise Minimum Ambient Lighting mod, which I consider to be essential for anyone making videos in KSP. Realistic light levels are cool and all, and I understand the desire for realism, but realistic light levels kill a video experience fast. Minimum ambient lighting being raised up so you can actually see what's going on in the dark is much better for video. I also have Precise Node, Kerbal Alarm Clock, the Editor Part Highlighter, the Toolbar, the Blitzy Toolbar, Kerbal Engineer, MechJeb, TAC Fuel Balancer, Module Managers in there of course, and the Docking Port Alignment Indicator by Navyfish, Final Frontier, the in-game notes, Haystack Continued. The Haystack mod is back, folks, and that is really a godsend when you've got a lot of ships in a small area or in a similar orbits. It makes it so much easier to select and or target ships. Let's see, I've also got my aviation lights, the Kethane mod, KW Rocketry, procedural parts, quantum struts. All of these I've used before at one time or another. New for this season, added in, is Deadly Reentry, Stage Recovery, Stock Bug Fix, Stock Drag Fix, KSP Interstellar, Tech Manager, which is a drop-in replacement for the Tree Loader mod that is required to run Interstellar, and Magic Smoke Industries Infernal Robotics, and the Kerbal Attachment System. There were a few others, such as Farum Aerospace and the Active Texture Management, that I wanted very much to be able to use, but I was not able to get KSP to start up with those mods installed without having an out-of-memory error. So I've elected to not use them, since I can't seem to make them work anyway. And that's why I've got Stock Drag Fix in there. It fixes an error in the drag calculations where Stock KSP apparently calculates area, approximates it based on mass. The problem is that it also includes fuel mass, which is going to make for grossly excessive amounts of drag. And so this mod fixes that. And so, if you want more details about the mods and links to them, I have a link in the description to a blog post where I detail all of the mods and provide links to their Kerbal Space Program forum threads. Let's see, did I mention quantum struts? Yes, that's in there as well. I had a little problem with that when I'm using the version of quantum struts from 0.20. It does work just as well still. I couldn't find the forum thread or official downloads or anything for that. I'm using a copy that I had used in a previous install. Alright, so that should just about cover the mods. The scope of this LP, this season, is going to be basically to get Kerbals everywhere in the Kerbal system in fulfillment of what is obviously a manifest destiny to own the whole place. Alright, we're arriving back here at the pad. We'll go ahead and manage to get him up the ramp. Get him back on the ship. Grab and board. Alright, now we'll go ahead and recover this. And that will set us up with a good bunch of starting science. 31 science total here for these little bit of EVA reports and surface samples. And we'll of course recover the whole thing plus the life support that's on board it. And we get our crewmen back. Alright, the first stop is R&D. Okay, so go ahead and we'll be purchasing this first node. And let's see, I want to purchase the survivability node next. And obviously I'm not going to be buying that, or actually anything else just now with only 11.6 science. Now, according to the way things are done, I need to do entry purchases for individual items here. So let's see, we'll get the FLT 400 and let's see, what do we got here? We got a procedural, oh, I should have got the procedural fuel tank. Let's see, so each one of these purchases have to be made with cash from up here now that I've got the node unlocked. So let's see. I'll get the mystery goo, of course. Don't need the KW rocketry tanks. I'll get the procedural liquid tank. That sounds like a great idea. Okay, that's 1,200 to purchase that one, and the procedural decoupler is entry purchase 0. Okay, I'll take that. Alright, now we'll go down here to this one, and we want the radial parachute, the procedural life support tank. How about that? And the procedural heat shield. I'll go ahead with the landing gear and the LV909. I'm down to 5,000 credits here, so I need to stop. And now, let's get out of here. Stop over here and get our first this contract for launching a new ship, and we'll take the altitude record of 5,000 meters. And these two, we're going to wait. Because I discovered something a while back. You go to the altitude record of 5,000 meters, and if you go ahead and reach that one without going very much beyond it, you can get another one with more science at 11,000, another one at 22, another one at 33. So that maximizes the rewards. Yes, it's more flights and more time, but it's easy to do. And now I'm going to get a ship designed to take care of this. All right, here we are. We've got the creatively named Science 1 vehicle. And I suppose if you were to be technical, it would be Science 2, but okay. The purpose of this ship will be to A, fulfill these two contracts, reach an altitude of 5,000 meters. That I don't think will be a problem. And the secondary purpose will be to fly off to the west and get as close to that mountain range as possible, land intact, and get some science there. So, let's see, the only thing I really wish is that there was something approximating a ladder, because if our pilot gets out here, he's going to drop quite a ways and he won't be able to get back in. But the ship will land intact. That I'm pretty sure of. In any event, let's head off to the launch pad and get this show on the road, or in the air as the case may be. I got SAS on. I'm going to have to configure this thing. Okay, it is configured. Alright, good. Alright. And let's get this thing going. I used the structural girder thing to make some kind of impromptu extension so that the landing legs could actually reach the ground. I'm going to bring up my flight stats and watch the apoapsis. As soon as it passes 5,000, I'm going to throttle back the engine big time, because I don't want to go much beyond that. And as you may have noticed in the VAB, I spent most of my resources building this thing. I spent most of my funding to put this together, so it really needs to succeed. Otherwise, I could find myself starting over entirely too soon. Okay, 5,000, I'll get to about 5,500. Okay, we have actually passed that, so contract is fulfilled. We don't have any problem there. And now let's pitch over more. I'm actually going to throttle up more, but I'm going to pitch over so that we're not gaining altitude. We're just getting distance now. Okay. Yeah, that's going where I want it to. And it's out of fuel. Both of these procedural tanks are empty. I was going to use the FLT 400, and then I figured out that the procedural tanks actually carry more fuel than the FLT 400s, and I think I better deploy the parachutes and the landing gear. We've got 3 chutes on the side. Plus that one in the center. So we should set down very nice and easy. Okay, we won't get any mountain science out of this, but we will at least get grasslands or something here. I need to make another one of these custom windows that shows the biome. But in the meantime, our pilot, Mr. Jebediah, is coming down nice and slow and easy. And we're up to 5,000 funds. Possibly a little bit more once we actually recover the ship. Okay, very good. A little bit precarious. Alright, let's get our mystery goo. Keep that. Get our crew report. Keep that. Get our other mystery goo. We might as well. And now Let's see how we can do with the EVA. Let's get an EVA report right here while flying over the grasslands. We will reboard to store that, and then we'll EVA again and jump off. Oh, hey, about that. Okay. Not the most graceful of exits, but we'll grab a surface sample and we'll get another EVA report. And now, because he's never going to climb back up into that thing, we don't have ladders yet, you see. We've got rocket engines and so on, but we don't have something as simple as a ladder. So we will recover our pilot, and then we will remotely recover the ship. Okay, 8 science from the pilot. Very good. Very good. Okay. And now over here I see this icon where the ship is. That's new. And if I click on this, I have the option to recover it right now. Excellent. Another 11 science from that for a total of 34. Part recovery is complete. We got 6,169 from recovered parts for a total of 11,000 in funds. And we got our pilot back. All right. Now, the new contract. Okay, 11,000 meters. That'll be the next flight. Okay. Test an LV909 while splashed down. Okay, I believe we can do that. Okay, and the rest of these I'm not going to mess with right now. Alright, I'm going to make a little change here. I'm going to need an LV909, but not just yet. Just lengthen that tank, maximize what's in it. Separate this. Okay. Let's throw another tank on here. And this one doesn't have to be hardly anything. We'll just make it minimum size. LV909 can go there. Grab another decoupler. We don't have a radial decoupler yet. And we won't need landing gear. We won't need those. Copy that. I want to copy parachutes. Because remember, we want to recover these stages whenever possible. And so I will be including a lot more parachutes than I normally would. All right. This engine fires here. These parachutes deploy when that stage decouples. And then when this one decouples, those parachutes deploy. And then there's a decoupler up there that I hope not to use. All right. That looks good. And one of the things we're doing here is we are enforcing a crew rotation. Note to self, don't use the notepad while over the ship, because you will accidentally take it apart. Alright, actually no. That needs to be in its own stage so it can be activated after splashdown. And I want to make certain that there is enough parachute here to prevent this thing from crashing. I know there's the one up there, but that one isn't really worth a whole heck of a lot. All right. Jeb, you're out. Bill, you're up. And I need to hire some more crew sometime very soon. I don't plan on doing a whole lot of design and building stuff on camera. I'm doing it now because it's really very simple, but okay, we'll want a full thrust launch here. Let's go. I do like having my flight stats information available. And with the stage recovery mod, we'll get a little bit of a refund for this stage that we're going to drop. It depends on how much of it, whether or not it's got enough parachutes, how close it is to KSC when it lands, and so on. Pitching over just a little bit so that we can get over the ocean. The stage is just about done. Okay, very good. Throttle off. Staging. Stage separates, parachutes deploy. I guess we won't know about that until it actually gets somewhere. Now, light this stage and burn until our altitude passes 11,000. Okay, apoapsis approaching 12,000. Okay, cut the engine right there. We're about to fulfill our contract. Okay, altitude record set. Now, we just need to get back down. Let's have the surface info. It's a smaller window and it's more appropriate here. Alright, we'll just slow ourselves down here. Start by killing the horizontal velocity, just like we were landing somewhere else. I'm going to take those 3 parachutes on the lower section, put them in their own stage, and fire them. And then the upper parachutes, alright, this sucker will touch down good, and then that means we can recover this lower stage as well. It will be recoverable. Speaking of which, anything happen here yet? Yes, this first stage was recovered. We got 2,800 funds out of it. Percent refunded, 97.9%, and it landed, it didn't say how far from KSC, but the point is, we got some recovery from that jettison stage. This is good, very useful. And if I wasn't going to use the goo, I shouldn't have bothered putting it on there, but we'll go ahead and get the report for whatever we can get out of it. Grab the crew report. Okay, we are down intact, and now let's finish the other part of the staging. First, we'll thrust limiter that engine all the way down to 0. There we go. And now staging. And stage the engine active. Alright. It says test it by activating it through the staging sequence. It didn't say anything about actually going anywhere with it. Now let's grab another EVA report. Keep that. Take a surface sample. Keep that. We'll get back on board. And we'll recover the ship and then remotely recover the stage unless it automatically takes care of it with stage recovery. Alright, okay, 57 science. This is getting good. 5,000 funds from recovered parts plus what was otherwise recovered. And we got bill back. Stage recovery. Oh, that's the settings. I don't want to mess with that. I'm leaving that at default. And we have a ship here. Let's recover it. We got some more funds. We're up to 15,000 funds. All right. Next altitude record, 22,000. Now these things where we've got these really narrow requirements, but well, I guess that one's not quite as narrow, but I don't like those contracts. So I'm probably not going to use very many of them unless I can actually be sure that I can do them. Right now I'm concentrating on getting to the point where we have a ship in orbit. So let's see. It's too bad they won't give me contracts to test stuff while landed. Alright. 22,000. Alright. We'll go. I didn't want that one. I'll leave it on there for now, but I didn't want that contract. Oh, wait a minute. I need to hire some more crew because... Just because. Let's see who's in the crew facility. Okay. Aldous Kerman, you're hired. We got Hadley, and Werdorf, and Dunny. These people with the high stupidity levels can stay there. Alright, I will add them manually to the crew roster later on off camera. Right now we just need to see, this thing probably had enough. Let me look at the Delta V. Yeah, I think it might just have had enough. Actually, I should take a look at R&D and see what else tech-wise I can get that will help things. For example, yeah, research that, and let's grab the Science Junior, the procedural battery, let's see. Okay. 12.3 science left. There won't be anything else for right now. I should have thought about the radial decoupler, but I was so anxious to get the battery. Okay. I'm going to see what tweaks this needs, and we'll get ready to fly.